Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 296. It is Thursday here in the US. It is Halloween. So for all of the trick-or-treaters who are going out tonight, I wish you so much fun. This is a day of lots of candy, good costumes, neighborhood community time, lots of adventures. So I send much love to all of you who are trick-or-treating. When I was growing up overseas, we didn't have Halloween, and so I moved here when I was 10 and a half, and my first Halloween I was 11, and I remember all of my neighborhood friends showing me like how to put a costume together because I didn't know what to do, and get your pillowcase, and then we ran as fast as we could through the neighborhood to get as much candy as possible. I only did that a few years, and then we were done, but later when my children were little, we would walk around the neighborhood and they'd be in their strollers, and we just get lots of candy for them. It was such an adventure. So I send lots of love to all of those who are playing in that space tonight. Here in Cincinnati, it is cold and wet and rainy and gray. It is a blustery day outside, so I am hoping that the weather clears up just a little bit for everybody tonight. Okay, we are moving into Mercury retrograde. I actually asked my daughter this morning about it. I said, I thought we were in Mercury retrograde. She's like, oh no, hold on. The next 2 weeks are going to be interesting. I'm like, no, I thought we were almost done. Like, are you kidding? So there is going to be some energy that continues to move, my friends. We are also still in Scorpio for a while, and all the other things that are happening. We're also moving from the end of October into the new month of November. There's just a lot that is available and shifting for all of us. When I was getting ready for the call today for the recording, the theme that sort of flowed or kept coming forward in my quiet time, it was this practical application of what I discussed yesterday in the podcast. So when we talk about telling truth, there's an unraveling. That's the title I'm going to try for today. There's an unraveling that happens, and there is the one who is going to be speaking the truth, who needs to be ready and in alignment to speak the truth. And then there is the one who is receiving the truth, who needs to be steady and in alignment to receive the truth. And when it's not completely harmonious, things can get a little bumpy, or very firework exploding rocket kind of bumpy. So I thought it might be helpful to sort of dive into that, or just feel into that in this space, and perhaps that will offer some guidance if you're feeling this urge to be more truthful and to be deeper in the truth that you're sharing. How do you actually discern when is the right time to bring that deeper layer forward if there's a part of you that's kind of hesitating? And so I thought we'd just kind of meander through that. There is a great scene that I was picturing from a movie that perhaps encapsulates it the best. If you've seen A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise and is it Jack Nicholson or Nicholas? I think it's Nicholson. There's a great scene where he's this military top dog, and he had given orders to these young cadets, I think is the title for them, that got them in trouble. And so they're being court-martialed, and the lawyer is defending them, and he's standing in the courtroom knowing he can only press so far with this top dog, or he's going to get disbarred or thrown out of the courtroom for being too aggressive. And he's trying to walk the line. He knows there's a deeper truth. He knows. His intuition is just telling him there's a stinking mess at the bottom of this that someone's covering up. And he doesn't have the evidence. The only real evidence would be this military commander telling him the truth. But to get this person to say that feels like an impossible task. And so he's sort of walking the line and feeling what is happening in the energy. This is my interpretation of it. And there's a moment where he just knows he's about to get the truth. And Jack Nicholson screams it into the courtroom. He's like, "You can't handle the truth." And then he tells the truth. And then he gets taken out in handcuffs because what he did was illegal. It was a crime. He committed a crime and he'd been trying to cover it up. And Tom Cruise's character could hold the line just far enough that this person said the truth on their own. And it's such a great scene. You can feel the intensity of moving to that moment and then the burst of energy when truth is stated. That's a great example of truth resonates. You can feel it. Even though the whole thing's a story and it's a movie, they play it so well that you can feel how that could happen in real life and the power of that sort of truth being brought forward, being brought to light. So how do we apply that example into our lives? It's a line we walk, and sometimes we do it really well, and other times, perhaps not so well, or perhaps we push somebody past where they're ready to go and then they withdraw or they project, and it kind of makes a little bit of a mess happen. The guidance I can offer that perhaps is the most steady, or the phrase or the barometer that you can hold within yourself, is that truth always, let me see how to say it. Trust your intuition and make sure you are in alignment with your own truth first. So if your truth is that you can feel you don't quite have all the information, or there's something that just isn't sitting right with you, and your whole body is telling you that, your whole body is guiding you to ask a question because you just know something isn't quite right. I always follow that guidance and I ask the question. If I can feel inside of me, and this is the next level of it, if I can feel inside of me, I know within myself that we are not at a place of the deepest truth, and the person across from me is not ready to be at that place yet, period. And my pushing and poking and urging them to go into the deeper thing is going to create an eruption or hurt them in some way. Perhaps, that's not the right word. Cause them to contract and withdraw. If I can feel that within myself, and my intuition is telling me that, push any harder and you're going to lose the ability to communicate about this. All communication will be shut off. And there's no progress that is made when all communication is shut off. If my intuition is saying that, then I will hold steady in my own knowing that I know there's a deeper truth, and also now's not the right time. And so I'll just hold steady where I am, knowing at some point, because I'm holding steady, the right time is going to present itself. And when it does, my intuition will tell me that too. And then that's when I'll say that next deeper truth. And they'll be ready then. And we'll be able to go deeper because I'm because I'm trusting my own guidance towards deeper truth. Okay, so let's recap, because it sounds like it could be contradictory, and it isn't. In me, it's really clear, so I want to make sure I'm translating it in a way that is clear also for you. If your intention is always to trust your intuition and to always be seeking the deepest truth and knowing your own guidance and how to move towards that, then every choice you make is going to be the right choice. One of those choices may be to sense, to trust your intuition that the person you're communicating with is not ready for that next deeper level. And so you simply pull your own seeking into you and hold it steady for a while, knowing you'll also know when it's time to move forward again and ask those deeper questions when that person is ready. So it's sort of like maybe moving in steps, right? We want to be, if we think of truth as being deeper, so we're taking steps downward into the deeper truth. If you see yourself as always moving down the steps until you land at that root truth of whatever it is you're exploring, you'll know when you hit the root truth. You just know. It's your intuition telling you, like, this is the deepest truth. It's like in the movie, right? As soon as he said those words, you can't handle the truth, and then he said the truth, the entire courtroom got quiet. The lawyer said, I'm done. And he walked and he sat back down. And they came in with the handcuffs and the judge took over. Like, they didn't have to talk about it anymore. There were no more questions. The deepest truth was out. And it was just clear. It was clear, and now the next steps evolve from there. And there's no more seeking. You'll know that in yourself when you're committed to unraveling the stories, the patterns, going through the valley of the shadow, like we talked about in the podcast earlier this week. When you're committed to going through the valley of the shadow and then releasing the old stories and coming to your own glorious knowing, then that truth is always going to guide you deeper until you land in it, and you'll know when you land in it. If we are using this visual of taking steps, so if you take a step and you drop deeper, so you take a step down and you drop into a deeper truth, and then you're kind of sitting there in a conversation with someone and you know, like, oh boy, something just shifted and now we're really talking. Like, we're not doing that surface thing that I talked about the other day. We're really talking. Like, this person's telling me who they are and I'm telling them who I am, and how we're communicating is like way different than it was a few minutes ago. We've stepped into a deeper truth. We're down and in. You may sit there for a while, and it may also feel like, and we're going to go another step deeper. We're going to actually share more. We're going to get to the deeper root of this. Or you might sit in the space and your intuition says, whoa, 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 whoa. This is as far as we go today. This is good. This is good. We're going to sit in this space for a while. I will know when it's time for us to take another step down and deeper into the next level. But right now, we're good. And we're just gonna sit in this gloriousness because, whoa, buddy, like something is better, right? The way we are talking is better. What I have found for myself, because I've had many of these journeys into deeper truth with lots of the people that I love and trust around me, when I sit in a space and I know we're somewhere deeper, my intuition is saying, hold here. And my mind is going, they're not ready. They're not ready for the deeper truth. We're going to sit here until they're ready. Damn ego. And then later what I realized is I wasn't ready to hear anything else. Like, I was maxed. That was as much as I could handle. There was no room for anything else. I needed to sit there for a while and catch my breath and reorient myself. And then when I was ready for something more, we would be guided forward and the conversation would go deeper. In the Scorpio energy, it can feel sometimes, and I also want to add here, you may be breezing through this and there's no drama. Awesome. Fantastic. Your listening to this is giving you awareness about what others around you may be experiencing. And so maybe your journey through Scorpio right now is just to hold space for the people around you and to encourage them to speak their truth, to encourage them to go into deeper conversations and relationships with people. So you don't have to be in any turmoil to still receive the awareness that others may be needing your guidance right now. what I feel for this Scorpio energy is, for some people, it's like bombs going off, like landmines, and they're trying to walk through this grid that they don't know how to walk through because these little bombs keep going off in all these different areas. And that is so taxing and jarring and unsettling to your system for any of us, right? This is what we did last night. It's why we had our bonus session for quietly listening. It's because so many people were saying, like it's really intense right now and I need help. And so what Andrea did in the virtual acupuncture was settle I think she called it the parasympathetic system. Whatever the one is, sympathetic or parasympathetic, whatever the system is that goes into fight and flight mode, she said for so many of her clients, and what I'm seeing, and so I'm addressing it here in this podcast, we're all in this like boom, boom, boom. And our nervous systems are like, what's happening, right? We can be a little fried inside. And so her acupuncture last night was literally touching the points of that nervous system and going, right? Like let's smooth it out. Let's settle down some of this intensity or the jaggedness of how these unsettling shifts in our relationships can feel to us. When our soul wants us to expand, let me rephrase that. When our soul is ready for us to expand, period, it's going to bring the mind and the body into alignment because it's time for expansion. And so our mind has to be blown apart a little or quieted down or slowed down enough so that the soul can talk. The body has to be brought to a halt or paused a little bit so that it's not racing so fast that it can't understand what the soul is wanting to create or to express next. And so it can feel kind of trippy when we're moving through a lot of energy like this, or when our soul is ready for some deeper truth to be revealed. It can feel a little trippy, like I don't always know what to expect or how to navigate it. And so if your intention is clear, we'll say it one more time, 3 times is a charm. If your intention is to trust your intuition and to always be following the path to deeper truth for yourself first, then trust when your intuition says, ask the question of this person, go a little deeper, share this thing, it's time to take a step down into a deeper truth. And trust your intuition when it says, and that's enough for right now. We're going to pause where we are. We're going to listen to some sweet music. We're going to nourish the body. We're going to take a nap. We're going to drink some extra water. We're going to call a friend and just talk about the weather and be in the space of being loved by someone who cares for us with no agenda. We're going to soothe the nervous system. And then what you'll find is, because your intention is clear and you're honoring what your mind, body, spirit are telling you, you can drop into this powerful vortex of energy of Scorpio just step by step, and you can go deeper than you've ever been in your relationships. You can have a deeper trust in your intuition than you've ever had before. It can be this magical ride. That's not the right word. This magical journey inward, this magical stepping continually deeper into whatever it is you're exploring in your truth. It can be such a great time. As I say that, I can feel how some people would be like, it's not a great time, it sucks right now. It really doesn't. It does. It does. I'm with you. It does, and it really doesn't. I was listening to an Esther video while I was doing my own hair. I haven't quite manifested the hairdresser that's always here for me, but maybe one day. I was doing my own hair, and I was listening to an Esther recording, and she was saying something similar to that to one of the people in the audience. She's like, It's really not that bad. I mean, you think it is, but it really isn't. Everything's here for your enlightenment. And later, when that really intense time is over, aren't you so glad you went through that? Because what you'll find is your life is actually better for it. Who you are is actually more amazing because of it. And the person who was talking to her said, yeah, right now it sucks. I know. I know it does. And it's a process. It's a portal you're walking through. And what's ahead? It's so good. It's so good. So, yeah, I don't need to repeat it. You got it 3 times already. So if you didn't get it, go back and listen again. But it's a really easy intention and focus for you. All right, I am headed off to Lunch and Love with some new and old friends, and then back here to create a video for our Patreon page. I'm going to be pulling some cards for the energy that is moving in as we step into November. And then I'm going to hang out at home with my husband tonight and do nothing. We live in a little neighborhood where there's lots of hills, no kids, very few houses, but lots of distance between them. And so we don't get trick-or-treaters, which is perfect for tonight. We are both ready to rest a little bit. Happy Halloween to all of those who are celebrating, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in to this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me on Sunday mornings for an hour of meditation, visualization, and energy healing, where we realign our mind, body, spirit with Gaia and Source. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.